guys, and welcome again to Cooking with a Twist. This is Lilia, and today I want to show you how to make quiche. It's one of those meals that feeds a lot of people, so it's great for parties. So stay tuned for the next steps. So I've gone ahead and rolled out my pie crust on my 9-inch baking pan here. You can either make the homemade crust, or you can buy one like I'm using. It's just one from the grocery store. I do have a recipe for the crust, for a savory one. If you want to check that out, I'll be posting that up soon, and it just tastes so much better. It's a thicker crust too. So I'm going to go ahead and just round this out. And we're going to go ahead and poke holes now before we put it in the oven to bake. That way it doesn't rise. Occasionally you'll still have it rise here and there, but just go on ahead and halfway time, baking time, poke it again so it could go down. So I'm just going to do this. Do it on the sides too, because it tends to rise from the sides. So this is what your pie crust should look like. I've gone ahead and flattened it out to the shape of my little pan here. And I'm going to go ahead and start cooking up the bacon. I'm going to use bacon for this. You can use ham or chicken. And the bacon has plenty of fat, so I'm not going to add any oil to it. I'm just going to let it cook it on its own there. So before we put in all the toppings, you want to bake this for 350 degrees for 15 minutes, and then you'll let it cool off. In the meantime, let's get the rest of the ingredients going. Now add my last egg in, and whisk all of this before you add in all the spices, the meats, and the milk that we'll be adding to that. So I'm going ahead and whisking all my eggs. You can use all egg whites or just an entire egg like I'm using. So I like to mix this beforehand because it's so much easier. You don't have clumps of white or yolk of the yolk if you do it now. And then once it looks like about that, I'm gonna add my garlic. Add my garlic and then cayenne pepper, and that's optional. I just like a little spice, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And it gives it a little color too. So mix this. And then you add your black pepper to taste. I don't add salt to this because I'm adding bacon and cheese, and that's salty enough. I like my fresh black pepper in there. And then mix it again. And now I add my half and half and 2% milk. You can use whole milk, and it's well mixed. So now I'm going to add all my vegetables. I add red pepper. I like orange bell pepper and yellow. And I've got purple onion. I do it more for color. And broccoli, zucchini, and green beans. And I'm not adding the long ones. I've got some long ones for decoration towards the end once I set it out. So I'm going to add just the diced pieces. It looks beautiful with asparagus. So if you got that, add that. Those pieces at the end, I'll show you how to assemble it. And then I'm going to add my mozzarella cheese. I use a low-fat mozzarella cheese for this. And then blending this all up. And then lastly, we add in our bacon. And with my bacon, it has so much fat, you want to drain this out. So you can see it there. There's so much. Gonna do that and add it in. You could add chicken breast to this too. And now I'm gonna add that all into my crust, and then we're gonna bake it again. So my crust, if you notice, it didn't rise up because of those holes that we poked on it. Now that my pie crust has cooled down just slightly, I'm going to go ahead and add in the mixture. And this is an easy way to add in vegetables into your nutrition, your diet. I do recommend when you're adding vegetables to add vegetables that don't have a lot of water, like the broccoli. Zucchini has a lot of water, so I added just a little bit. If you decide to use a vegetable that has a lot of water, just don't add so much of that milk mixture. It's just a design. You could use any other vegetables that you like. This will now be going in the oven for 350 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes. Check up on your oven because they all vary. It can even take up to an hour, but at least with mine, it's usually 45 minutes.